Welcome, everyone, to a fun Friday edition of Texas Rangers Daily. I am Positive C, Chris Edwards. Change is good. This is the last day of the Change is Good sign. We will have another weekly sign up next week. It's a fun Friday. We got some fun topics here towards the end of the show. News at the beginning of the show, though, because Malcolm Moore has finally found his footing. We have three prospects to tell you. That's what Sports Illustrated says, that, there's three prospects up and coming for the Texas Rangers, that 2026 might be their year. And of course, we're going to have some fun because the 2003 Texas Rangers, it was really a crossroads year. This year might be a crossroads year for the East Texas Rangers. So we're going to go over that. And then one of my favorite Texas Rangers of all time was Hank Blaylock, and we're going to talk about his career. But first things first, we have a first-round pick that's actually finding his footing, as we'll see right here. To my left, Malcolm Moore. Malcolm Moore has just started his Arizona Fall League season, but he's been having a good run of it. Now, he was a first-round pick in 2024 out of Stanford, baseball powerhouse, probably a smart player. He's a catcher, so there's lots of, expectations for Malcolm Moore. He dropped to the number 11th prospect in the Rangers organization because he started out 2025 with a 930 OPS, got hurt, ended up at a 567 OPS by the end of the year. Not very good. Didn't show the slug that he had shown at Stanford, and a little bit in the first year of his minor league season. Just didn't really pan out the way that it seemed like it should. So he dropped down to number 11 this year in the Arizona Fall League. Apparently, he's looking a lot healthier. In 4 games, he's got. He's got 5 hits in 4 games. That's leading the team. In 15 at-bats, he's batting .333 with a .389 on-base percentage and a .467 slugging percentage with 5 RBIs. So that means the consistency is what they need to see. They see the flash now. The Rangers have now seen that this kid can hit. So can he hit consistently throughout the rest of the fall league and into the spring and into, spring training? He's probably not going to get a major league invite, but he will at least be on, some of those, backfield teams and whatnot. So keep a lookout for Malcolm Moore. The Rangers need catching help. And if this kid can, get to the top of his early ceiling, he might be the catching help we need. All right, moving right along. It's a focused Friday as well as a fun Friday. We have 3 prospects to pay attention to here in the next year. Let's go over this real quick. SI.com has Caden Scarborough, a 6th-round pick in 2023. He's just 20. Last year, he went 2-5 with a 2.45 ERA in 22 games, 22 of them as a starter. A 181 batting average against, and that's really good because it's such an improvement of the last year where it was 302. Cameron Cawley, he's 22 years old. He's been in the Rangers organization for about 5 years now, so he's been there. He's been around the block a little bit. He's hit at least 12 home runs in the past 3 seasons, and I think he's hit 15 in the past 2. So the guy has a little bit of pop, but it's consistent pop. That's the thing. Consistency in hitting is where the Rangers need to be focused on more, I think, than the flash in the pans. But he strikes out too much. See, that's the thing. He strikes out a lot. The thing that will get him to the major leagues a little faster than maybe the other guys is he can play multiple magicians. Yes, he's quite a good magician. Pulling the ball right out of his hat. No, he plays multiple positions, and so again, with Josh Smith, the way that he is, the way the Rangers are sometimes, healthy and unhealthy at the same time, if that makes any sense, they need a guy that can play multiple positions to, either give Josh Smith a rest or, if Ezekiel Duran doesn't pan out, because that's actually his job too. If you think about the super utility player, it's supposed to be Josh Smith and Ezekiel Duran. They're supposed to kind of split that role. Right now, Zeke doesn't really seem like a major league player. If Cameron Cawley can prove that he is a major league player, that might be his position. And then this guy right here is somebody I don't think we should be talking about at all. It's just too soon, and we don't even know what to really do with him. Seng Young Kim, he is the Korean, maybe the Korean Shohei Ohtani, because he plays two positions. He pitches and he plays shortstop. I'm not too sure about this just because it's so early in the development of a player like that here at the major league level here in America. You don't know whether or not that he's going to be a Shohei or if we need to, focus on one of those things. So let's pump the brakes on all prospects. Let's definitely pump the brakes on Kim, and let's see how this all pans out. Because there was a time when the Rangers would just, do anything and everything they could to be a very good team, and it didn't really work out too well, including the 2003 Texas Rangers, which, hi Juan, hi A-Rod. This is A-Rod's last year, I believe. It's Juan's last year. It's Rafael Palmeiro's last year, but it's Mark Teixeira's first year. It's a really interesting crossroads between generations of Rangers right here, because you have a couple of players like Juan and like Rafi who had been there through the 90s at different points in times, and Juan's one of the greatest Rangers of all time, and this is his final hoorah. This is Juan's final hoorah. In fact, but before we get there, we're gonna get there. It started out with the 2003 Texas Rangers went 71-91 that year. I believe that's Buck Showalter's first year as a Rangers manager. A-Rod had the MVP that year. He had 47 home runs, a 995 OPS, just ridiculous, 118 RBIs, an 8.4 WAR with 124 runs scored. I believe all of those led the league. Emerging Stars was the name of the game here for the Texas Rangers, and we'll actually talk about one of the emerging stars more in the final segment of the show, but we have two we want to talk about right here. One's Michael Young. This wasn't his, this wasn't his first season, but this is one of his breakout years, one of his all-star years. He hit .306 with a .339 on base percentage and slugged .446, 33 doubles, and 204 hits. 200 hits would be the quintessential Michael Young was a 200 hit season. Mark Teixeira, this was his rookie year. What a monster rookie year. 26 home runs, 84 RBIs, and oh my God, an 811 OPS. He was fifth in Rookie of the Year that year. Go look up who won the Rookie of the Year and see how that really kind of panned out. We'll talk about Hank Blaylock in the next segment, but here's the last hoorah thing. See, this is where the crossroads happen. Juan Gonzalez, he only played 82 games. Basically, he was shut down in July with an injury that lingered all year. The Rangers were probably going to trade him anyway. He was leading the league in a bunch of categories when he went down, so the trade market was going to be very good for him. But again, Juan got hurt, and Juan got hurt a lot. He had 24 home runs and 70 RBIs. Rafael Palmeiro had an amazing final season for the Texas Rangers. We all know that might have been aided by some things, but who knows? 38 home runs, 112 RBIs, 867 OPS, and a 3.6 WAR. The Rangers were going young, and so they had to get rid of some of these older players. They got some older players too that year, like Carl Everett was on the team. Very interesting year for the Texas Rangers. Pitching wise, this was the vintage Texas Rangers of no pitching to go with that hitting. John Thompson was the only pitcher with an ERA under 5 in the rotation. Listen to these names and you'll see why. We had Chan-Ho Park at the end of all that. Ishmael Valdez, like Colby Lewis on his first go-round. He had a 7.30 ERA. R.A. Dickey. Like this, the only bright spots that the team actually had it were three relievers really. Ron Mayhay, Brian Schaus, and Coco Cordero all had pretty good seasons, but still could not, pick up the slack that everything else was going on. This is why the season was bad. The only winning month that they only had 1 month with a game over 500, right? And they had 2 months out of the year where they only won single digits. 2003 was a bad year. It was a setup year because the next year they won 89 games. So I think that this is kind of almost like the 2009 to the 2010 season, the way that kind of went down. Buck, had the team, doing some good things the very next year, but just could not consistently win in 2003. They went 17-12 in August, but then proceeded to win 9 games in September. Another September swoon. So yeah, that kind of Ranger team was a Ranger team that I was growing up on at the time. A lot of great offense, a lot of fun moments for the Texas Rangers, including watching this guy have one of the best All-Star game moments of all time, because we're talking about Hank Hank Blaylock, Hank the Tank, third-round pick in 1999 out of Rancho Bernardo, Rancho Bernardo High School in San Diego. He ended up being the #1 prospect in all of baseball in 2002, and there was a reason for it. He could rake. The kid could absolutely rake. They worried about his athleticism a little bit coming out of high school, and a little bit about his glove. They weren't sure exactly what position that he was going to play, either shortstop or third base. It ended up being a fairly good third baseman, actually. No gold gloves or anything like that, but a good third baseman, serviceable third baseman. But he had a great 4-year stretch, with the Rangers that made him one of my favorite players of all time. From 2003 to 2006, hit 275, this slash line, 275, 337, and 463. That's a 799 OPS, 102 home runs, 381 RBIs, 2 All-Star appearances. So that means he averaged about 26 home runs and 95 RBIs in those 4 years. Just a very consistent player, and a part of Ranger teams where sometimes during the summer there was nothing going on, and even the team was terrible, but you could really count on Hank Blaylock having a good year, and really representing the Rangers in the right way. He actually represented the Rangers in a very cool way in a 2003 All-Star game when he came up with the game-winning 3-run home run or 2-run home run. I can't remember exactly what it was. After Michael Young actually had a big moment in an All-Star game too. But Hank Blaylock hit the home run that actually ended up being the game-winning home run after Keith Folk went 1-2-3 in the 9th. Just a tremendous a clutch play right there from a really good player that is in the Hall of Texas Rangers pretty good when you think about it. And that core of that Texas Rangers team, Michael Young, Hank Blaylock, Mark Teixeira, that's my formative, really getting into the minutia of baseball Texas Rangers team. So I'll always have a little bit in my heart when it comes to all those guys on that squad, excluding, Hank Blaylock. But his career, kind of derailed itself with injuries and things like that. He ended up having 1 year outside of the Rangers in Tampa Bay. Didn't go well, ends up retiring. And yeah, I think that if you go back and look at what Hank Blaylock is, there's parts of me that would love it if Wyatt Langford just turned into Hank Blaylock. That would be something for me right there. So think about that next time you're trying to compare, players to these greats. Sometimes they can be just a team great. And if Wyatt Langford ended up being Hank Blaylock for 4 or 5 years, I would love it. And I love you out there. This has been Chris with a positive C. If you enjoy the show, if you like what I'm doing, if you like Texas Rangers Daily, and if you love the people at Fan Arch, like, subscribe, share, do all those crazy things. Have a good weekend. I'm actually going to go be an actor tomorrow. So, Maravilla, stay gold, pony boy.